Shalom Israel, shalom, shalom. Coming back at you with another video, man. Giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, by way of his son, who is the instrument of salvation, right? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The one that we reverence. Shalom to all of you guys that are watching this video. Shalom that will be watching this video. Shalom to just the nation of Israel in general, and the cleavers, right? The other nations that have a heart and mind to cleave unto the truth, right? The truth of the Bible, and cleave unto our God, to serve him. Here at the Hopeful Elect, we do practice being peaceable with all men, amongst all men, as the Bible teaches, man. And so if they're trying to be peaceful with us, so be it. But without further ado, today's video is going to be, what's today, Thursday? So think about it, Thursday, right? I think I'm gonna title this, Two Are Better Than One, right? And it's just something that's been on my mind recently, something I gotta do better, something I feel as the nation has to do better, right? So before I get into this, man, something to realize, something to know is that we can't have respect of persons so much, right? We can't have a respect of persons because of who somebody is or who somebody is to us, right? We are all called to be our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper, and to hold each other accountable, right? And sometimes it gets a little hazy and where we can draw that line. And that's what this video is about right now. So hopefully after this video, people can start honing in on when to speak up, when to say things to our brothers and sisters. That way, we can stop causing each other to fall, right? And to err. Because a lot of times, man, we'll let Satan, the adversary, speak into us and tell us things like, nah, that's not your business. Don't say nothing, right? When we see a brother or sister is struggling. We'll see the adversary come and speak words to us, man, causing us to hate our brothers and sisters in our heart, man, right? We got to stop doing that, man. This is the definition of hate right here, right? This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. I love that last part, not suffering sin upon our brothers and sisters, right? Anytime you can intervene into your brother and sister's life to not let them suffer sin upon themselves, or not to suffer sin upon them from you, right? That is love, and you should do so, right? Don't ever let the enemy speak into your ear and convince you not to speak up on somebody that you call your brother or your sister, right? Especially us in this truth, man. It's not a lot of us, and we got to hold each other accountable, man, because it's a representation that we gotta set forth and to uphold, right? And so with that being said, what does it say? It says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, right? What would be hate if you don't do this stuff, right? If you don't rebuke thy neighbor, if you do suffer sin upon him. So we gotta love each other, and we gotta rebuke each other. We gotta we can't be like, man, that's none of my business, right? As brothers and sisters, man, we're a family. Everything is our business, right? So we should always be having that in our forefront of our mind, right? That we always need to be worried about each other and making sure that we're straight. You know what I'm saying? Because although we're in the truth, man, there's still temptations that go out every day, and sometimes even though we try to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we're in the truth, we can our temptations can weigh on us to where we can't even see what we're doing, and we need somebody to speak up on our situations, right? Take for instance King David, when he had that situation with Bathsheba, right? And he had pretty much stole another man's wife. He wasn't even in his right mind enough to understand what he was doing, right? It took for his prophet Nathan to come and give him a parable, and then by his parable he understood that he did something wrong. Sometimes we have to intervene in some people's lives to let them know what they're doing is wrong, right? I can think about 3 or 4 people that I've just sat back, and not spoken up just because, oh, that's that brother's journey, or that's that sister's journey, right? They'll come to it. No, man, we got to stop being like that. Now, there's a right time to say things and a right time and a right way to say things, right? And that comes with discernment. But all in all, we got to figure that out enough so we're not hating our brother and sister in our heart, right? I'm gonna go to the next precept. I'm gonna go to, I'll start at Ezekiel 3:18, right? Ezekiel 3:18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and now giveth him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand, right? So a lot of these things, man, like we were just going over, right? You know, you might be looking in from the outside, looking in, right? And when it comes to, you know, when he speaks of warnings to the wicked, right? Not necessarily calling all of us wicked, like not even calling David wicked, but sometimes we do wicked things. And there's warnings out there already. This whole book is a warning, right? And so when we look at that, right, he speaks into the wicked, gives us warning. Sometimes we're out of our right mind. Sometimes we have to help our brothers and sisters, remind them about the warning. And if we don't, and we see them fall off into the world, we see them fall out of the truth, we see them do wicked things, and we possibly could have prevented it, then that blood should be on our hands, bruh, right? And we got to repent for that stuff, right? There's several times where I got to repent for the same situation, man. You know, there's a fine line between being messy, being nosy, and gossiping, and actually trying to intervene to help your brother and sister. If there's a situation where you think you can say something that can reconcile a situation, you should do that. Right? Take for instance the prophet Jonah. Y'all know Jonah and the whale, right? So Jonah, he was you know, he was called to prophesy to Nineveh, but he didn't want to, right? He knew that they were a hard-headed people, right? But the Most High had it set up to where, he probably was the only person that could get through to Nineveh, right? Because just think about it, man. Out of everybody on the earth, if Jonah really didn't want to, bruh, the Most High could have picked somebody else. But Jonah was probably, you know, smooth with his words. He probably knew what to say to him, right? And so the Most High picked Jonah. Jonah was running away from his calling, right? But he couldn't run away from it, right? He even got swallowed up in a fish and everything, right? We all know this, right? And so Jonah was saved by the Most High, right? He was trying to hate his brother and sister so bad, right? But what happened was the Most High didn't allow him to. The Most High got him, brought him back, and had him rebuke them. And sometimes we can be like Jonah too, but we have to catch ourselves before we fall in that same situation as Jonah, because sometimes the Most High might not have mercy or favor on our life. Maybe he'll let us ignore our brothers and sisters, right? Like he did with Cain and Abel. When he asked Cain, he said, "Where is thy brother?" And he said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Right? The answer is yes. We're all our brothers, sisters, and keepers here, right? And so we got to understand we can't be like Cain, because if the Most High doesn't have mercy on us and he lets us go through with that till our brothers and sisters fall out the truth or die or do something wicked, right? That blood's going to be required at our hand, just like that blood was required of Cain, right? So Khan, right? We got to be able to speak up. One last precept, not going to be before you guys long, man. Short but powerful. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse number 9. It says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they shall fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up." Man, when we're walking in this truth, two is better than one. That's why the Most High said to do what, man? Even in your land of captivity, to plant vineyards, you know, be fruitful and multiply. Why? Because he didn't want us to be alone. He didn't want us to be diminished, because it's going to be harder to get back to him that way, right? When it's more than one of us, we can hold each other accountable. We can do the things that are required of us. We can rebuke each other. We can get each other back on track when we're going left, right? We can get back on that right track, right? It says two are better than one. And we got a whole nation that's the sand of the sea. We have to utilize that. If we don't, man, that's exactly what the enemy wants us to do, right? A nation divided cannot stand. They want us, man. I was at work, man, and there's a white guy, Edomite. He was like, "Man, I want to help out the black community so much because it just seems like you guys don't help each other out, you know." And we couldn't really argue with him because that's our community, bro. We don't even want to help each other out, right? Got dark in here. We don't even want to help each other out, right? Salaki, I don't know what happened, man. My phone cut out, man. But at the end of the day, man, I just want you guys to understand, man, as brothers and sisters, we got to look out for each other. We got to be there for each other. We can't hate each other in our heart. That means we have to intervene sometimes, right? Don't feel bad for it, right? Sometimes we got to do what? Cry aloud, spare not. What does it mean to spare not? It means we got to spare not each other's feelings sometimes, right? I was watching a video and the brother gave an analogy. If I'm saving you off a cliff, right, and I yank you up so hard because you're falling and I break your neck or your arm or something, right? So it might hurt, but I needed to intervene. I needed to do that. You might have said, "Nah, I got it, bruh. You don't have to help," right? Sometimes you got to intervene because sometimes they don't always got it. But with that, man, I'm Brother Donald coming back with another Think About It Thursday. Hope this was edifying, man. Giving all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, by way of his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who was an instrument of salvation for the nation, man. I say shalom, shalom, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.